Hi everybody, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home. Thank you for joining me, and as you saw in the photos, we are going to be making this octagonal card. I saw on YouTube. I thought I would convert it to Canvas Workspace and show you how to do it. So as always, as you know, the files are always free to download on my Facebook group page. If you don't feel that you can be making this, then don't worry about it. You can still download it and use it as it is. First things first, I colour this just so that you can see the different parts. It's not necessarily the colours I'm going to be using, because I do like to use some pattern papers and things like that. I'm just going to group that and move it all out the way so that we can get started. So first things first, we need an octagon. And we are going to imagine it's a 6x6 card. Now my envelopes are 6x6, so my cards always have to go down slightly, so I always make them at 5 3/4, which is 5.75, like that. Now we are going to duplicate. So then what we're going to do is divide this down the middle. Now I showed you how to do that in a previous video, but I'm going to do it again. So we need the path tool, and we are just going to draw a line so that both sides of the line go over the hexagon, octagon even. And then what we're going to do, we will go to offset, and we want outward 04. And this one we want to delete the original line because we don't want the line. That doesn't really matter where it is, so we'll just leave that. And now what we're going to do, we don't want to lose too much of the shape. So if we get in just a little bit closer, it allows us to pull the line in so that it's narrower. There we go. That's really good. So then you want to click on both and make sure that it's gone down the middle so that it's even both sides, and then you subtract and divide, and then you've got the two sides you need. So we'll go display, zoom to matte size, and we're going to put one each side. Obviously I'm just going to move it more centrally. Now obviously we want it as far out as we can. So first of all, we are going to get all three and make sure that they're on the same line, so through the middle. And then individually we are just going to play around. I'm using the arrows on my keyboard just to go as far as it will let me. In fact, if we get closer, we'll be able to see a bit better. So I think we can go probably one more. Think that will be okay. And then we'll go over here and we're going to go out as far as it will let me. That looks about right. Let's see. So we're going to grab them all and weld. There we go. So now we've got, looks like a sweet wrapper, cracker, something like that. But this is the beginnings of the card. So what we want to do here now is just put our score lines in, which is getting the path tool, click, hold shift so it'll stay straight, go down to the bottom and double click, and then we need to do the same that side. Now you can either layer duplicate or just do it again. Click, hold shift, straight down, double click, there you go. So they're your score lines for the card base. So we need now just to get both of them and change them. Third score line down is the one I always like to use. They're small scores and they're far apart, so there's less chance of the card tearing or breaking apart. So that's them. Now what we need to do, actually I'll tell you what we'll do first. We need cut lines for the kind of explosion opening in the middle, and to do that we need the path tool again. Actually, what I'm going to do first, let's just group that. So I've done Control G or you can do layer group. And I'm going to put it on my grey line because that's the 0, 0 for the X and Y. So you can see why I need to go up one. So now we're on 0, 0. I know this is 575 and that my line needs to be in the center, which we can do with the aligning tool, but we want to go 1.5 inches. So we'll start off by going to the path tool, click it around where you think it should be, but we can do it exactly with the align tool. So click, hold shift, go across and double click, and then we're going to go over here. See, width is 153, so we know we've got to go down a little bit, and all we're going to do is change that to a 0. There we go. So that's 150, so we can layer duplicate and put that one over there. All we're going to do now is pick up all 3 lines and do a central. Looks like they were pretty good anyway. So now we've got our cut line. We need a score line going like here. Can you see we've got a score line there? So again, we grab the path tool, and I'm sure I left 1.25 inches down. So I'm going to presume I've done that, which means my Y should be at 125 when I do it. So click, hold shift and come down. There we go. It's at 133. Okay, I think that will be fine, to be honest. But now we are going to layer, duplicate and flip vertically. Yeah. Oh, getting these lines can be a nightmare sometimes. So you want to make sure that the top blue line here is directly over the cut line, so that we know we're in the right place, and the side blue line is directly over the card shape, and that should be perfect. There we go. So that's them two. And now we are going to, I think the easiest thing would be to just, if you hold shift, you can grab both layers. I think we'll do that. And we will group them. And then duplicate. Now we can go back there because we want to flip them horizontally. And then just move them over to here. Now this time I'm making sure this line lines with the outside card shape, and 2 dots in the middle are on the cut line. Now if we test this, we'll make sure everything is lined up through the middle. If we go in layers, and we've got these 2 groups here, which is that one and that one. We want to change them to a score line because they're a score. So there, now we've got the main card shape. We want the mats. So you see I've got these 2 out. What I should have told you before is when you done the hexagon shapes, before you welded them, I needed you to do a duplicate of one side. So I already had this one left over from when I've done here, but if you duplicate just one of the sides, you only need one because then we can duplicate for the other side. Getting this shape here is a bit awkward. You can't do an offset for the first bit of the shape, so we're going to do it over this side. Or actually, I'll tell you what we'll do. If I flip that so it's the same size as this, we know we need it a little bit smaller, which I've already done. And then what we need to do is get the triangle. I think I've got the yeah, I've got this one, and I widened it so that it would fit, because what you need to do is make sure it's a little bit bigger than the line there, because we need it on the other side. So we've got this so that there is a space, and then what we're going to do is grab both them shapes. So now I've got it where I can do that. Arrange, bring to the front. So now I've got it there. So what we need to do first of all if we just group all this so we know all that's together, because there's a lot there. That's Control G on your keypad or layer group on here. Then what we need to do, so I made this just a little bit smaller, might have to make it a little bit narrower as well, just so that it fits inside the side there. Then you get the triangle and you need it a bit bigger than the triangle score line, so that you've got the shape on the inside like here, as you can see. And then if we just grab it all and make sure we've got it all centered like we need it, we're going to have to put the triangle to the front, and then with both them shapes we are going to subtract, and that gives us the shape we need for the sides. And then if you're having a mat and a layer, which I do tend to do, you then want to offset it inward. We want bevel because there is no curves there. I would do it at 08, and you want to leave as is. You don't want to delete the original one there. And click OK. And there you go. So then if you click on both of them, layer, duplicate, and flip horizontally, we've then got the other side as well. So that's easy done. For this, you're going to have to get another octagon. Actually, I need two, so I'm going to do that now. Put one to the side down here. And we know that this octagon we done at 575, which means this one we need to do at 5.5. Now just make sure it fits nicely, and then you can offset for your other piece. So actually, let me just, we want the same there. And then if we just check that we've fit it nicely, it should centrally fit. There we go. So that's the center, the two sides. And if you want to do the inside as well as the outside, then obviously you need two of each side. The triangles, if I show you these here, I used another triangle the same. No, I didn't. I used the right angle triangle. I do apologise. So the first one it fits is over here. And if you just size it down till you're comfortable with what it fits, take a look at the size. If it makes it easier, if you do it up to 25, that's 1 1/4. And you can, that fits quite nicely like that. And then actually let's do the smaller one first, that's going to be easier. So we're going to offset first, there we go, and then we've got two triangles, and if we duplicate, all we're doing is, so for this one we want to flip, and then that one goes down there. And then if we duplicate again, we can bring that one over there and flip horizontally, and then that one goes there, and one more time, and there you go. That's all 4 of them for the outside. You don't really need to do the other side, but if you want to, you can. One more thing, for the center, as you close the card, you want something sort of popping out of the middle. I don't know if everyone does that, but I liked the idea of that. So if we make this, let's try 3 inches. Okay, we want that one at the front, apologies. Just make sure that it does cover. Okay, we need to do it a little bit bigger, because what we want is to make sure that it goes over the top and bottom of the part that opens. So we'll do 3.5. Let's try that. And there you go. It's, yeah, that's perfect. And what we can decide then is what you want to put on top. So that's a separate piece like that. These are all separate layers, and you are now ready to cut. I think that's everything. So I will see you over at the craft table. Okay, so I'm over at the craft table. This is the card shape, and all you're going to do is fold it in and then fold these two back, and that will be the thing of the card. Now I've got the inside ready already because it takes a long time to dry. It's still not quite dry, but I've put a flower arrangement on the hexagon, as you can see. I've used pinfair glue. It's very simple. All you do is put let's get there, sorry. You put pinflair gel, this one, onto the card, nice big blob of it, and then you're just going to stick all the flowers in. That's all I've done. I don't know if you can see it very clearly there, but that's all I've done. It does mean I'm going to need a box for my card, but that's going to be easy enough. Okay, so now all it is layering the card up how you want it to look. So I've used this beautiful, I don't know if you can see the colour of it, but it's the pink frogs, yeah, red velvet, and it's such a beautiful colour. So what I've done, I took the inside hexagon out of it. You know me, I do like to save money. And then all we're going to do is stick that on the inside, because that's the inside layer. I'm doing this in a kind of almost gothic design because I'm doing it particularly for a certain young lady. My great niece is 16, and she's definitely not sweet 16. Okay, and then I got this paper from one of the Debbie Moore CDs because it suited my style. There's so much out there you can use, but this was perfect for me to use on her card. So that's going to go over the top, and obviously that means it will hide where we cut out the smaller hexagon. Just make sure you get it nicely spaced out. There we go. Okay, and before we put the middle in, I am just going to design it, or put the layers on the outside. Now I've already layered it up because it's the same stuff. I've flat glued all mine, but if you want to put pads on, that might look nice. I think it looks better all flat glued personally, but don't know where I think I was going with that. So it fits quite nicely in there. Okay, so that's kind of the main now outside. Just making sure the corners are stuck down. So you've got the main card like this. So it's kind of like the explosion is in the middle. So you want to make sure that the eye is drawn to the middle of the card. Now what you could do is, instead of just layering it like I have, you could do another card so that, because this will stand like this, but then you could have the card with the open inside instead of having to do a insert on the back. I've left it like that because I really want the flowers to be the central piece. So you can see I'm going to glue it but I want enough time to move it so I can make sure it really is central. I roughed up the edges of the hexagon just to give it a bit of detail. It needs to come down a little bit. There we go, that's it, that's more like it. Yeah, I roughed up the edges of the hexagon just so that it could be a bit different. So that's that. So now they open the card and it's like that. So there's an explosion of flowers coming out. Let me just see if I can bring it closer to you so you can see. And then the explosion of flowers. Now, I've got the 16 as well, which I've done in the same papers. But I wasn't sure whether it needed to go on the inside or the outside. And I've got a feeling I might put it on the inside so that it's just sitting on top of the hexagon. I'm not sure, no. It's tough. 1, 6. That goes a little bit over, so I'll have to compensate for that when I make the box. But maybe like that. Yeah, I think I prefer that. So I'll do that. But this one I'll put on pads. I think it needs pads. Okay, so that is the card. I think maybe a tag or a little circle happy birthday on one of these might look nice. Or just a tag in the middle. And then obviously you're going to write on the back. That's wonky, isn't it? You know what I've done, look. Don't need that bit either. Okay, let's try again. We'll get it straight this time. There we go. There. Maybe a banner across the top might look nice. Okay, so it's as simple as that. You can go with whatever you like. Oh yeah, I've got these beautiful dragonflies from Pinflair. Look, can you see them? Has anyone ever been to the Pinflair yard sale? So I got these in a box like this, all of them. I think they were 50p. But maybe a gold one on the... Ooh. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. A gold one on there. You could do some gems or something. It's just with this one, it's hard for me to do, but I don't want to do it too fussy girly. Although I love it, the girl it's for does not. So I'll have a think about that. But yeah, you can do so much with this, and you can make it bigger or like I said, put the card in the middle. You don't have to do the flaps. I've seen some people take the flaps off, some people leave it on. And then don't forget to do a square for your insert at the back. But that's one idea anyway. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.